Oh my gosh, 1.7e in college algebra, and we are in the back stretch of this. We're going to take one example and do a whole bunch of stuff to it, and then we'll look at the summary of transformations, which I would write that down. I do not expect you to know all of this, page 161, but let's look at example 7. So we're going to take y equals f of x. Okay, and I'm going to take a picture of it here in a minute. And what they want us to do is graph y equals negative 2 f of x. Oops. F of x minus, whoa, gosh, what am I doing? F of x minus 3 plus 1. Okay, so I'm going to take a picture here and then get it going on it. Okay, so let's look at this. This is the building block of this graph right here, f of x. We don't know what it is. I mean, this is not how they would normally write as just f of x. They would write at y equals 2x minus 3, the quantity squared, plus 4, or something like that. Something you're used to seeing. They're just making this up. They're saying if we had an equation, and I'm not going to tell you what it is, but the graph looked like this, what I want you to do is do a whole bunch of junk given this and find out what this graph will morph into. Okay, so what do we have here? What did we change from f of x here? Well, we've got a minus 3 here with the x. We're multiplying by a 2, but not only by a 2, a negative 2. So we know we have a reflection here. It's going to flip over, and then added 1 to it. So we know we've got a vertical shift, 1 unit. So we've got a minus 3. Remember, what does a number here mean? It means that we're going to go left or right, the opposite of what that is. So we're going to go right 3. We're going to go up 1. This 2 means that it is going to get smaller, and this negative means it's going to flip. So we're going to do a whole bunch of stuff here. All right, so let's just go one piece at a time. Okay, so the negative 3, and it doesn't matter which one you do first. I usually try to do, if there's something in here first, and then do this, and then do the 2, and then flip it. I don't use this, if this is a negative, don't do this negative until the very end, because whatever this is going to be, then you're going to flip it. And if you flip it first, then you've got kind of a mess trying to keep things straight. So let's do the minus 3 first. Minus 3 means this whole thing is going to shift 3 to the right. So everything is going to shift. The x values are all going to go up 3. So there, this 2 here is going to change to a 5. This 0 here is going to change to a 3. This negative 2 is going to change to a positive 1. And this negative 5 is going to change to a 2. So what do we have? We have a graph that looks like this. It didn't change. It didn't mush. It didn't stretch. It didn't do anything. It just moved. Okay. Now, you can do whatever you want. You can shift it up 1 if you want. Or you can do the other thing. Let's see. What did the book do? The book went and did the 2 next. Like I say, it doesn't matter. So we're going to take what's in green there, and what is going to happen there? It is going to stretch by 2. So the y values, when you're stretching, the y values are going to be multiplied by 2. So let's go ahead and I guess we kind of have to leave that there, don't we? What did I do? I moved it over here. Okay, so we're going to take the y values, all the y values here, in this new one, not the old one, in the new one, and we're going to multiply everything by 4, or by 2. So this y value here was 2, that didn't change, so this is going to change to a 4. So I guess let's go with a white one. No, let's go with See, I like being able to change my colors. All right, so this is going to change, be multiplied by 2. Well, 0 times 2 doesn't do anything, so that's going to stay. This point right here is going to be multiplied by 2, so it's going to go up to a 4 now. This doesn't change. This is going to multiply by 2, so instead of being where it is, it's supposed to be at negative 4, it's going to go down to 8. So it's going to be clear down here, and this one's not going to change. So now, what do we have? We have this. Okay, so what did we do? We went from black, shifted over because of the -3 to the green. The 2 stretched it away from the x-axis by that many. Okay, remember, if this was a fraction, it would be divided, and then anyway, it's not, so we won't worry about that. And then the next part, the negative, means it's going to flip over. So I'm going to change this to blue, and let's go ahead and flip it over. So it's going to flip over like that. And then the +1 means that that blue one is going to shift up 1 unit. Now let's see, what color can I use? Let's use purple. And I'm going to make my pin a lot bigger so that it's obvious what our final looks like. It's going to go, let's see, blue was our last one. It's going to go up 1. So that goes up 1. This goes up 1. This goes up 1. And so everything goes up 1. So that purple ends up being our final product. Okay, so all that stuff. Let's look at page number 161, and there is a list of all of the different things that are going to go on here. Okay, now let me get a picture of that. All right, so if you've got this really, really hard problem, in fact, let me see if I can find one. So if I have something like 123, whoa, I need to make that smaller. G of x equals 1/3 f of x minus 2. Okay, they give you a problem like that. What you're going to do then is you're going to look at this fancy-dancy little sheet here and see what's being done to the f of x. Okay, so first thing we notice is that there's a number in here in the parentheses with the x. So that takes us here. When you have a number added or subtracted to the x, you look at your horizontal translation. Okay, so if it's a minus number, like this one, minus d, then it's shifted right that many units. So sometimes what I do is I go shift right 2. Okay, so it takes care of that part. Okay, so I know I'm done with that. All right, let's see. What else do we have? We have a number outside here. Let's see, where is that here? Right there. If you have a number in front, okay, what's going to happen is it's going to be a vertical stretching or shrinking. If the number is bigger than 1, it's going to stretch. If it's less than 1 but bigger than 0, so therefore if it's a fraction and it's positive, it's going to shrink vertically. So it's going to shrink vertically. Okay, so I know what it's going to do there. So I'm going to divide by 3, or I'm going to take 1/3 of it. So that graph is going to take 1/3 of it. And let's see, what else do we have? That's it. It shifted to the right 2, and it shrunk vertically 1/3. Okay, so following this bit of information here will really help you figure out. You look here and say, what's being done to the f of x? Okay, well in this one, a number is being multiplied by the x. Well, that's not happening in this one that we did here, so it doesn't stretch horizontal or shrink horizontal. So use this as you do the problems. And I would strongly suggest using your answer key to make sure you're doing these correctly. Okay? This is stuff that's important to know, but it's not a huge part of the things that we're going to be doing the rest of the semester. So don't get so caught up in it that you feel like you're just going to die and you might as well quit now. No, look at this as one section that we're doing. It will come up again, but it will not come up as huge of a complicated issue as what it may be to you right now. So that's it for 1.7e. We are done with 1.7.